Gentlemen, welcome into NFL Daily presented by DSi. I am Cam Rogers. That guy right there is Tom Downey. We are in the heat of training camp. A lot of rumors, a lot of buzz out there.
It is really hot, too.
Yes,
just
that
from
too.
a temperature standpoint.
Absolutely. So we're going to give you guys the rundown with the latest injuries surrounding some of the key players for all the NFL teams out there. We'll start off with a pretty good offensive lineman in David Bakhtiari.
Good news for the Packers is that Bakhtiari's injury is actually not going to be that severe. He was carted off the practice field earlier last week. He suffered only an ankle sprain in the end, though, for Bakhtiari. So he's going to miss some practice time, but it doesn't sound that serious. That's some good news because, frankly, Cam, you got guys like Tyron Smith, Trent Williams, maybe throwing to Jason Peters and some others. Bakhtiari's right there alongside him as the best left tackle in all of the NFL.
One of the premier players at that position there. All right, doesn't seem too bad for him. Let's talk about Sony Michel. And Tom, it's a little gory. Like, there's some fluid that was drained away from his knee and all this.
Fluid in the knee is not that bad.
Right.
I think I need to drain some fluid from my knee, but I'm not a pro athlete, so I just deal with it. It's much easier for Michel to have that drained. The confusing part to me comes from ESPN says Michel, he's going to be at least 10 days. Maybe it goes beyond that, but he shouldn't miss any significant portion, if of anything, of the regular season. And then Jeff Howe of the Boston Herald says, well, it's going to miss him for pretty much the preseason and maybe even in the start of the regular season. So which is it? Like, one says, he's going to be fine. The other says, well, maybe he does miss part of the regular season. So I am kind of intrigued by that one. The Patriots spent a surprisingly high pick in our eyes, Cam, on Sony Michel. I will say this, though, with Michel, who could miss some time and has his own fumbling problems as well, sign me up for Rex Burkhead, who I think is going to be the #1 back for New England, at least early on this year.
Well, there are a couple of routes the Patriots can go here. If they don't think Michel will be healthy for the regular season, they toss him on IR. That way they can keep their RB core, including Jeremy Hill and Mike Gillislee. There was some buzz that one of those two would get cut.
I still think that's going to be the case there. Brandon Bolden is another guy who's been on the roster for a long time. And then beyond that, there's a guy named Ralph Webb out of Vanderbilt who I like quite a bit. So Michel, I think, is going to be fine. He's not going to miss any major time this year. But it is worth monitoring, and it is going to kind of be a bit of a concern because you want to get him some preseason reps. If he's not able to play, he's kind of coming in a little bit raw and a little bit untrained for the difference between playing, even if it is the SEC, for the NFL.
All right, we talked about one left tackle in Bakhtiari. Let's talk about another here in Anthony Castonzo of the Indianapolis Colts. Hurt his hamstring recently. Very important part to that front line for Indianapolis.
He had actually just come off the PUP list and then immediately re-injures his hamstring. So not a good sign there for Mr. Costanzo. And he is going to miss some practice time, but Frank Reich says he should be ready to go for Week 1 when the Colts host the Bengals in early September in Indianapolis. So some good news there if you're the Colts, that he's not going to miss major time. But Cam, it is still a concern of, oh boy, well, Jack Mewhort, he just retired, and now our star left tackle, well,
not good.
Starting left tackle, I guess I should say. I don't know if Costanzo really counts as a star. He's not quite the elite left tackle. It's just not a good sign for a quarterback who is coming off of shoulder problems. Kind of just concerning, at least in my eyes.
All right, so that's the latest surrounding Anthony Castonzo. We'll see what happens going forward in terms of his health. But yeah, you mentioned it in terms of the offensive line for the Colts. Quentin Nelson's there at guard. He should be a premier player for them.
I really, really like this interior, both for this year and long term, with Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and then I assume Brandon Smith at some point, maybe not this year, but down the road. It's the tackles that have me just a little bit more concerned with Costanzo and a bit of a right tackle opening/camp battle going on.
All right, so there you go. And hey, folks, it's almost time for you guys to win out there. We're giving away some serious swag thanks to DSi. If you want to get a head start, go ahead, chatsports.com/bet is the way to go and sign up. We'll tell you more about it soon, but it includes that beautiful fleece and jersey there.
Yeah, so 5 minutes. We'll tell you how to win here in just a few minutes away, folks.
All right, so get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue along here with some more injuries that we're tracking throughout training camp. AQ Shipley, stalwart center there for Arizona, tears his ACL, Tom. This happened recently.
Yeah, we had the exact same reaction
literally
at the exact same time
in sync.
When we got the text about it. We were like, ooh. Because AQ Shipley is not a household name by any means, but he is the answer to the unknown trivia question, who has played the most snaps in the NFL since 2016? It's actually AQ Shipley.
That's unbelievable.
Which is something that you would never, ever guess. Now, with Shipley out for the year with a torn ACL, I would assume that Mason Cole, who is the third-round pick out of Michigan, now becomes the starting center. They got a guy in Daniel Munier there, who was the third-team center, gets promoted. Evan Boeheim will make the roster as a swing interior lineman. He's played some guard, but was originally drafted as a center out of Missouri. So he might actually be your number 2, but plays more guard than center.
If you're head coach Steve Wilkes, you're just beside yourself because you lose a starter at the center position and you have a new quarterback in Sam Bradford. So
unleash
yikes.
Mason Cole, unleash Josh Rosen, and unleash Christian Kirk, your first 3 picks this year. There you go.
There you go. Let's talk about Antonio Brown. Sounds like he'll be okay, Tom.
He should be fine, and this is kind of a bit of a strange one to me, just like as, Mike Tomlin says, yeah, he's hurt, he's going to be fine after what he has called, it's an undisclosed injury. They haven't said what it's about, which, again, makes me think, oh, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, you couldn't just tell us if, he tweaked his ankle or if he sprained his thumb or something? Why you got to be all secretive? So he was sent back to Pittsburgh for evaluation. He's going to be fine. It should be day-to-day. And, again, it's training camp. These are often, outside of course, AQ Shipley, for example, very cautious approaches, especially with guys like Antonio Brown, who literally does not need the work. The conditioning, sure.
And he's rarely hurt, too.
The reps with Big Ben, yeah. But he doesn't need time with Big Ben. He's not a Sony Michel who actually does, could use some reps. He's Antonio Brown. We know he's going to be just fine.
All right, hit us up in this reaction poll. Who's the best wide receiver in the NFL? AB, JJ, OBJ, or DeAndre Hopkins? Let us know.
I don't want to insult any of those guys up there, but it's Antonio Brown.
I agree. All right, let's continue along here. Talk about Richard Sherman, now a member of the San Francisco 49ers, recently strained his hamstring. He will not be playing in that Dallas Cowboys preseason opener, Tom.
I wasn't sure he was going to anyway, because does he really need the more reps, given that the DC has some ties to the Seahawks defense as well? How concerned are you for this injury, though, given that he's coming off the Achilles injury camp?
Well, I think there is reason to be concerned. Now, with Richard Sherman, the 49ers are going to take a very cautious approach, and you kind of hinted at that, Tom, as well. Most teams do that with veteran players. The 49ers have a secondary that is changing a little bit. Ahkello Witherspoon should be better in his second year. I'm excited to see how he performs. Jimmy Ward is more of that depth option, but he can be
super sub.
Exactly. Pushed into the fray on the outside corner. If Richard Sherman is not good for the regular season, I think he'll be okay. But for San Francisco, they should be very careful, even overly careful with Sherman here going forward. He is an all-pro.
And I think overall, you look at that depth at cornerback. If Sherman does miss any significant time, it's Ahkello Witherspoon, Jimmy Ward, and then Kwan Williams and DJ Reed. It's a little bit thin overall, I think. So you want Sherman healthy. I think they'll be very cautious with him. I think he misses more than just a week. I think it might be more like 2 or 3 weeks, frankly.
Yeah, there's some buzz that maybe he's going to miss the second preseason game as well.
Which is typically what happens with a grade 1 hamstring anyway. So
exactly.
I don't know why they said, oh, he'll be out for a week.
Kwan Williams, as you see, folks, on your screen at slot corner, Jaquaski Tart, Adrian Colbert. You have Witherspoon, Sherman as your top-line corners, too. DJ Reed, a nice little depth option as well.
I did fail to mention Tavares Moore, who they've moved from safety to quarterback after taking him in round 3 this year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's stick with that 49ers theme here. Talk about Erik Armstead. This guy just can't stay healthy, Tom. Listed as week to week now.
He made sense coming out for the Niners out of Oregon in their 3-4 scheme. He's kind of changed on his positions, and the hope was that the new position this year, kind of as more as a base defensive end, would be better for him than
they call it the big end.
The big end, and then there's the Leo, which is that almost a 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 outside linebacker hybrid, kind of more of a true pass rusher. I think Armstead is a better fit at that big end spot.
I agree.
But if he's hurt again, do you consider saying, you know what, let's just put Solomon Thomas over there? Because I think that's where Thomas would be best at if it's not at the 3 technique where DeForest Buckner occupies.
I agree, and I think Jeremiah Tachu could steal some reps at Leo as well. And
I like
he
Tachu.
has a lot of potential. He just never had an opportunity with Los Angeles, the Chargers.
I liked him coming out of Georgia Tech. He hasn't been quite as impactful as I necessarily thought he was going to be in the end, though.
Let's talk about Taylor Gabriel dealing with a foot injury. New member of the Chicago Bears, Tom. What's the latest?
Well, this is a day-to-day foot injury, so it strikes me as you know what, we would hold him out of Wednesday's practice, and then he would do a light one Thursday and be good to go on Friday. Look, the Bears signed Gabriel this offseason from the Falcons. Matt Nagy said it's day-to-day. I think he's going to be fine in the end, but it is just worth mentioning because, oh, by the way, watch out for Anthony Miller this year. I loved him coming out of Memphis. He's looked really good in camp for the Bears.
He's getting a lot of buzz out there
right
now. All right, keep an eye on him, and that's the latest there with Taylor Gabriel. All right, folks, we're giving away some serious Bet DSi swag. A fleece and jersey could be yours. Here's how to win. Register and deposit using that promo code NFL120. You see the website at the bottom of your screen. and you see the beautiful jersey on your screen as well. Screenshot your
There you
account, DM us on Twitter or Instagram at Chat Sports. That first DM wins a jersey and fleece. The website, chatsports.com/bet. Log on, sign up, deposit, screenshot, hit us up, you get a jersey.
We're giving you 2 free things. First off, you're getting, I guess, three free things, Cam. You're getting a jersey, a fleece jacket, and you're getting free money to bet worth. Like, what more do you want out there,
and
guys?
you also get a shout out on air because you are awesome people.
Yes,
so
we love you all.
Keep it up, folks.
In a platonic way.
Yeah. Chatsports.com/bet. Get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Bet DSi sponsoring NFL Daily here today. Wrapping up here the injury front with Sammy Watkins. What's the deal?
Well, he left practice today with a hip injury, and Ian Rappaport said it was considered a minor injury. It was just precautionary. So some good news there for Watkins because it is training camp, Cam. When we see player leaves with injury, the immediate reaction is, oh, God, is he okay?
Right.
Sounds like he's going to be just fine. So nothing to panic about there for Sammy Watkins, but we will just keep an eye on it for you guys here because that's what we do.